So you just swore into the delayed entry program, and now you're trying to figure out if you're gonna do a 4 or 6 year contract when enlisting into the Air Force.
Hold on, just let me think for a minute, guys. Can I think?
If you stick around, I'm gonna give you some pros and cons of both that will give you some further insight and hopefully help you make a decision on which path you're gonna take. And make sure you stick around to the end, because the last tip that I give is gonna be huge in helping you get some control over your career. All right, so one of the advantages about doing a 6-year contract versus the 4-year contract, this is a real easy one, it's the money. With the 4-year contract, it takes about 16 months before you can reach enlisted grade 3. Unless you came in with 45 college semester hours, if you had 3 years in junior ROTC or ROTC, or if you got a Billy Mitchell Award, a Carl Spatz Award, or an Amelia Earnhardt Award, those would be the only ways you can come in right away with an enlisted grade 3. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait 16 months before you're eligible to make the rank, unless you do a 6-year contract. A 6-year contract without any education, without any other previous mentioned awards, will allow you to make enlisted grade 3 at the 20-week mark of the Air Force or upon completion of tech school. So it's a lot faster and it's a lot quicker for you to start making more money. And the enlisted grade 3 is about a $300 a month difference versus the enlisted grade 1 that you will get in a 4-year contract. But that's too easy. We already know that you were gonna make a little bit more money with the 6-year contract, but it's not enough for an additional 2 years. I get it. All right, so what about experience? Let's say that your plan is to do 4 to 6 years and get out and go seek a job in the civilian world. Did you know that most civilian companies are looking for 3 to 5 years work experience when they're deciding who they're gonna hire? So the 2 years more that you would get from a 6-year contract is not that much more experience, but it's the type of experience that you get that makes it that much more impactful. Let me tell you how. If you come in with a 4-year contract, most people don't make enlisted grade 4 until about the 36-month mark or 3-year mark. The reason why this is important is because you're not eligible to promote into enlisted grade 5 until you reach enlisted grade 4. And with enlisted grade 5 or staff sergeant, that is a leadership position, meaning you're gonna get troops up underneath you that you directly supervise and manage. And also the Air Force will send you to an airman leadership school where they would teach you all about the fundamentals of how to lead people. So you're gonna get some leadership under your belt. Doing a 4-year contract, it's almost impossible to get that leadership experience. So with a 6-year contract, not only is it possible to get enlisted grade 5, but most people are making enlisted grade 5 at about the 4-year mark, which gives them about 2 years of leadership experience under their belt in a 6-year contract. So that 2 years of leadership experience on your resume is huge when you're trying to set yourself apart from your peers. But let's say that's not enough. A lot of people join the Air Force so they can travel. They think that by joining the Air Force, they're gonna see tons of different locations, and then they realize that in a 4-year contract, that's not always the case. And the reason being is because it takes about 3 to 4 years before you're eligible to receive a permanent change of station. I'm not saying that you can't get a permanent change of station in a 4-year contract, but most likely what will happen is that you will have to re-enlist anyway or extend so you can have the retainability the Air Force wants you to have in order to give you orders for that permanent change of station. In a 6-year contract, if you were to get a permanent change of station at the 3 or 4 year mark, you wouldn't have to do any re-enlistments or extensions in order to receive that permanent change of station. But instead, you can just ride out your initial 6-year contract and potentially have gotten to live at 2 different locations, which ultimately gives you more opportunities to see more of the world. All right, and here's why I told you guys to stick around until the end. This is gonna help you get more control over your career. A lot of people think that if they do a 4-year contract and they don't like their initial job, they'll be able to cross-train earlier because you're eligible to cross-train at the 35-month mark in a 4-year contract. But what they don't realize is what the Air Force is looking for when they're deciding who gets to cross-train and who doesn't. So when the Air Force is looking at airmen who want to cross-train, some of the biggest things they're looking at is your current rank, your projected rank, your time in rank, and your time in service. So if you put a package in to cross-train at the 35-month mark, you're not gonna really have much time in service or time in grade. And you're going up against other airmen who came in a 6-year contract who could potentially be enlisted grade 5. They've been in the Air Force longer than you, and they have more duty performance history, which gives the Air Force more data to look at when they're deciding who is the best fit for the cross-training position. Real quick, let me tell you guys about my cross-training experience. My initial contract was 6 years. My original job was electrical and environmental specialist. Basically, I worked on the AC-130U as an electrician. At about the 5-year mark, I decided that I wanted to cross-train into imagery analysis. I put in a package, and about 3 weeks later, I was accepted. I had a friend who was in a 4-year contract. He and I both put our packages in at the same date. As a matter of fact, we worked with each other to make sure our packages looked the exact same. I got picked up and he didn't, because he came in a 4-year contract and he didn't have enough time in grade or time in service for the cross-training position. Look, I get it. I understand that the 6-year contract is about 2 years more, and if you don't like the Air Force, you're stuck for an additional 2 years. But at the end of the day, I definitely believe the 6-year contract gives you more bang for your buck. But it's up to you to decide which one works better for you. If you've already signed a 4-year contract and after watching this video, you're like, man, I should probably do a 6-year contract. It's not too late. As a matter of fact, you guys have up until the day you ship to change your contract from a 4 to 6-year contract. If you guys have any questions about the contracts or any questions about the Air Force, you already know I'm super active in the comments, so drop a comment down below and I'll try to answer your question to the best of my ability. If you want to hear more about Air Force lifestyle and benefits, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and until next time, check me out.